We got Big Dance Thursday basketball. We've got Wichita State taking on Pittsburgh. The Panthers, a 4.5-point favorite, the total 119. This game being played at Salt Lake at 10:40 a.m. Pacific time on Thursday. And I got to play on this one coming up in just a bit. Ken Thomson, I wanted to start with you on this one. You got a couple of teams here that play a real hard-nosed brand of basketball, both of them. Pittsburgh's #1 in college basketball in defensive rebounds allowed, and that's where they get a lot of their advantage. But Wichita State, man, they're going to match you on the glass more often than not. I really want to see the referees swallow their whistles in this one because I think it's got a chance to be a real slobber knocker.
I agree with you. And, you know, both teams' defense is first and foremost. And talking to Coach Greg Marshall, he said first team to 50 may win this game. And we've seen Pittsburgh, they've gone into that defensive mode where they've shut other teams down for 7-8 minutes at a time. And Wichita State, no exception. We saw them win an early non-conference game at VCU, 53-51. So I think you're going to have a low-scoring game. A lot of great defense. Offensive rebounding could be key. And like you're saying, foul trouble could be key as well. So if the refs do swallow the whistle, I think we have a better game.
Definitely. Marco, this is your hometown team, the Pitt Panthers. And what I wanted to ask you, away from the matchups on the floor for the most part, to start things out, what is going on back there as far as what are people saying? Is there a distraction off the floor right now with the Jamie Dixon talk of moving out and taking the USC job at the end of the season?
Well, this has gone on the last several years. Every year we get to this time of the year, Jamie Dixon's name's coming up in a lot of coaching jobs. But this year it's different. And the reason is Dixon's not happy, I should say thrilled about going to the ACC. Pitt's never been a top recruiter in the conference because, you know, I know.
He's done a fantastic job there.
He's done a great job, but who wants to go to Pittsburgh? The selling point he's had in the past is he recruits well out of New York, New Jersey, and Philadelphia. So the selling point he has is, hey, you're going to play half of your games, road games, mostly in New York, and then you're going to play every year at Madison Square Garden for the conference tournament. So that helps him in the recruiting wars. He's not going to have that leverage to recruit to the ACC. The guys that he's been getting out of that area, he's not going to be able to get anymore. And Jamie Dixon, I think there's a very good shot that this will be his last year at Pitt.
Yeah, I think he's probably, well, we got a Southern California guy here in Ken, and we can talk about this on radio definitely as we start doing more radio together, but about Dixon maybe going to USC after the season is completed. One thing I was going to ask you real quickly, Marco, about your Pittsburgh Panthers. I like to look when I look at matchups and I see a team that's really strong on the defensive end. I see, you know, maybe their points per game allowed are real low in the high 50s or mid 50s. But then I like to see if it qualifies in context. I like to go to the offensive end and say, is this team, do they stink on the offensive end, or can they shoot the basketball? Because some teams, their defensive numbers are misleading because they are working the ball so much on the offensive end because they can't shoot. That's not the case with Pittsburgh. This is one of the top 20 teams in college basketball as far as field goal percentage is concerned.
They are, but they do have times where they got to work for it. If you saw the Notre Dame Pitt game earlier this year at the Peterson Event Center, it was an ugly, ugly game. Both teams shot bad. And then again, same type of thing happened. You had that 7-8 minute stretch with Syracuse where neither team could buy a basket, and then they get frustrated and are taking poor shots in there. I just worry about Pitt laying this number because Wichita State is a sound team. You know, I know this is a conference that doesn't get a lot of attention, but Creighton and Wichita State were the two best teams, you know, in the Missouri Valley Conference all year, and they played it right down to the championship game like they should have. I think they got a good shot as a dog, but right now I'm passing for now. I'm going to wait, try to get a little more of a sense of what the attitude is from the Pitt players.
Well, we let you steal the show on this game because it is your hometown Pitt Panthers, but I do have a free play on this one. Two well-coached teams, and you're talking about Dixon and Marshall, two great rebounding teams. And like Ken said just a minute ago, I think it's one of those situations where if the refs do swallow their whistles, you're not going to see a lot of second and third chances at both ends of the floor. I think you're going to see a very meticulous half-court game at both ends of the court, and you're going to see a low-scoring game. I'm buying that Greg Marshall, it's first team to 50. I really think it is. I like the game to stay under the total of 119. Total sitting right now at 119 as we shoot this on Monday late afternoon, and that's where I'm going. The under between Wichita State and Pittsburgh in Thursday's Big Dance action. When we come back, we got New Mexico State taking on St. Louis. That and more right here at pregame.tv.